Just because there is a sign of the cross in the front of the building before you walked in doesn't make it cool. It doesn't. Really, it doesn't. Yeah, I'm talking to you. You're looking at me now and you're acting like you don't know what I'm talking about. Now, Ngala, who after an accident was left with one leg and assisted by a crutches, he decided to move his family from the city area to the country area. The idea is to reduce the cost of living and make life easy for them because they were poor. When he got there with his very young family, he built a hut with bamboo, clay and raffias, just the regular small huts in Africa. He built his house in the McAfee County. His house was strategically located. On the right side, we have a stream that is like about a mile away, and on the other side is a forest called the Shakahola. The Shakahola is demarcated from his house by a highway. It was mainly green life surrounding the place. It was a quiet place. He barely had neighbors. But he was surprised and happy as well to see people walking out of the Shakahola forest through the highway and passing through his house, going down the stream to fetch water and back. That kept him company, and it was like a regular scene. He sees that every day. Now, two things gave him worries about those people he sees all the time. One is that these people are coming out from a forest, which you can barely see a house when he looks from his house. And they looked different. Like these people looked like very emaciated and looked like they've never had food like in months. In his words, he said they looked like bag of bone. But they go past and, he's new. He wouldn't say anything. One day he saw two men walking out of the forest across the highway, and then they were making their way towards him. This time they don't have any receptacles as if they were going to the street. This time around they had in their hands a Bible. And when they walked up to him, they started preaching to Ngala. And Ngala was all ears. He liked their preaching and he enjoyed it. This happened for several times, like it didn't happen only once. And that continued. And then at some point, when Ngala felt like they were friends, he decided to tell them, I would like to visit you guys where you guys stay. But then they said no. Ngala was surprised to hear that. Because of that, Ngala said, since you guys don't want me to come to your house, I don't really know what kind of people you are, I wouldn't want you to come to my house no more. And they severed the relationship. The next day, a hungry looking man who still looks like the people who comes from that Shakahola forest, looking like a bag of bones, this time looking very, very worried. He walked up to Ngala and told Ngala that he needs help. Ngala was like, what kind of help do you need? He said, I need help to escape from the Shakahola forest. Then Ngala was like, really? Do you really need to escape? That was when Ngala had to ask the man questions like, what do you mean escaping? People come and go, like what's going on? The man would tell Ngala something that he never expected. If you like stories like this, I tell this true life events like in a story format. They are true life happenings. The idea is for us to learn and even get better in life. So if you love it, please kindly follow and share my videos. It comes on every week, mostly weekends. The man would tell Ngala that a popularly known pastor named Mackenzie in Kenya, he was very popular, that the pastor sold up all his branches around Kenya and purchased a vast land down in the forest where those people come out from. And he also instructed his followers to sell up all they have, avoid going to school, medical attention, or doing things regular people would do. He also told them to all move down to that forest where they will all stay and disassociate themselves with the people in the regular world. And they are going to stay there and fast until they are going to meet with God. The man would say, I can't take it no more. And then, of course, Ngala helped him out. And then he left back to his house. Very early in the morning before the cock crows, Ngala heard a knock on the door. And when he opened the door, he saw this very young boy. He's about 7 years old. He also looks like a bag of bone. Ngala could tell that this boy came from that Shakahola forest. No need to ask. This boy looked very, very hungry, and he walked inside the house. He wouldn't say a word, but he was able to point out a cup of water set on the table. And Ngala immediately knew that this guy is hungry and would need water. He gave him a cup of water. This boy gulped it like he never drank water before. Ngala went as far as taking the initiative of making a porridge for this young boy. He called his family and they started making a porridge for the boy to eat. While the porridge was still cooking, he had a second knock. This man bumped into his house. There were two men, still looking like the same people, bag of bones. And they said they were looking for a young boy. And behold, when the boy saw them, he started crying. One of the men said that the boy is his son. And the boy also owned up to the fact that the man is his father. So he wants to take his son. Ngala wouldn't object. Ngala allowed them to take this boy away. And this was a decision Ngala would regret. They took the boy across the road back to the forest. Ngala went ahead and continued his business. Now, before this happened, Ngala has noticed the trend. He noticed that the number of people coming to and fro the stream and the forest were reducing. Like, it wasn't as much as it is. And each day, they keep reducing it. And then one day he noticed like almost no one is coming out from there. And he felt like maybe they moved to another place, and he went about his business. One day after a hard day's work, he was just sitting outside and relaxing and enjoying the cool breeze, and he noticed two cars like swarm over him through the highway. Was the Shakahola forest, and this was an unusual scene because you hardly see cars moving into that place. And immediately after that happened, he saw a police car and then another police car and ambulance and a lot of ambulance and then a lot of people. He was shocked. While he was still looking, he was surprised to see men wearing biohazard protective gears, and they were coming out of the forest with body bags. He would later realize that what the man that escaped out of the forest told him was true. That a step out of the forest was an escape. He wished he knew earlier, he would have called the cops. When he investigated more, he found out in the news that this pastor called Mackenzie actually did what the man told him that they were going to do. That the number of people at that point that were carried out who already lost their life from the fasting and praying was about 300. They have children, women, men, and they still have people who are still alive, including the pastor, Mackenzie, still alive. Other people that are still alive in there are almost dying. And the people who are still alive, some of the people who are still alive are like having some symptoms of starvation. Ngala would not see the hungry young boy that came to his house. For him, it's not clear if the young boy is still alive or if he is one of those that were buried in the shallow grave in the forest. Because what they were doing was, if someone dies, they dig a shallow grave and put you right in there. Just because you have this cross on the front of the building does not mean all is well. Trust me. Tell me what you think about Christianity these days. I wouldn't like to make my own decisions, but I would like to know what you think. And remember, share this to your friends and also your enemies. Remember, love your enemies. Peace.